Leviakis, and I am a Pilates instructor at ROC Pilates. I'm going to be guiding you through a series today of stretches and of exercises that just wake up the hips and the spine and that are a great way to start your day or a great way to kind of end off and relax after a long, exhausting day. So for this exercise, very minimal props. We have a optional band section. So if you don't have one of these bands at home, you can always use something like a belt or a piece of rope, anything that's just going to give you something to grab onto with your arms. And then optional is a roller or a pillow that you can just set underneath your lower back. But all the exercises that we do are completely doable with just the mat. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to go ahead and come down onto the mat on your hands and knees. And let's just first find our posture here. So you're going to press the back of your neck up to the ceiling, spread your fingers out as far as possible. So we're finding our posture and just holding here. So you want to lengthen through your tail and through the crown of your head. We're just going to start by tucking your pelvis, curving all the way up as much as you can. We're trying to get a nice stretch through that mid-back. And then go ahead and lengthen all the way out through the tail. Press your chest forward, arching up. And exhale, curving spine up as high as you can. And lengthening out all the way, arching your upper back. So we only want to arch that upper back here. And tuck the pelvis, curving all the way up. And slowly rolling back out. Lower back stays flat, just arch your upper back. Let's go 2 more times. Curving, connect your breath. And inhale. As you lengthen out, 1 more time. Exhale. Curving up. And lengthening back out all the way. So we're finding our posture here again. Now keeping the posture with the upper back, we're just going to move the hips side to side. So you're going to have your hips wave over to the right, and then they're going to go to the left. So we're just trying to stretch that lower back out here and get the hips moving. So as you're doing this, you want to really focus on keeping your shoulders completely still. We are only letting those hips move. And keep on going. At the same time, you don't want your knees to be shifting side to side. That's not the movement here. It's only with the hips. So as my hips move to the right, I should feel my lower back on the left side get a little bit of an extra stretch. As I move to my hips to the left, then you should feel a little stretch in your lower back on the right. Let's go 4 more times. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, take your hips over to the left. Hips over to the left. You're going to side bend your upper body over to the left. And holding there. We're trying to stretch the right side of the body here. And back in the center. Hips go over to the right. Your upper body bends over to the right as well. And come back into the center. So hips and torso over to the left. Holding there. Come back into the center. Hips and shoulder over to the right. And center. So you can think of looking back at your tail. I'm looking back at my tail on the left side. And center. And I'm looking at my tail on the right. And center. 1 more time each side. To the left. And center. And to the right. And center. Okay, so now we're going to jump rope the spine. And I'm going to demonstrate it like this so you can see where my hips are going. So my hips and upper body are going to go to the right. All the way over like we just did. Now you're going to tuck your pelvis, curve up as high as you can in the center. Then take your hips and your upper body over to the left and arch up here in the center. So we have hips and shoulders to the right. Then curve all the way up in the center. Hips and shoulders to the left. And then arch in the center. 1 more time slow. All the way over to the right. Tuck and curve here in the center. Both shoulders and hips to the left. And then arch in the center. Now, if we speed it up, we have a little bit of a circle here. To the left and arch arch, and right. Center, left, and arch. Right, center, left, and arch. One more time. And center, left, and arch. Now we're going to do the other side. We side bend over to the left. Tuck your pelvis here. Side bend over to the right. And arch up in the middle. Side bend to the left. Tuck and curve in the center. Side over to the right. And arch here in the center. Let's speed this up. We have to the side. And center to the side. And arch and left. Center, right, and arch. 2 more times. And right, and arch. 1 more time. Center, right, and arch. Good. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and take your right hand out all the way to the right side. Bend your left elbow, thread the needle. So my right arm is going underneath the left arm. I'm going to twist as much as I possibly can with my upper back. Come back into the center, holding there. Then twist your upper body up and open to the right, holding here. So again, it's just my upper body that's moving. Bend the left elbow. Twist under as much as you can with your upper back, reaching through the fingertips on the right. Come back into the center, holding here. Twist up and open to the right. Let's go 2 more times. Bend the left elbow. Twist, holding here. And center, and twisting up and open to the right. And final one. Bend that left elbow even a little bit more this time. Twisting under, coming back into the center. And then twisting up and open, holding up here. Bring that right hand back down. Let's do the left side. So, left hand on out all the way. We're finding our center, so make sure you're not shifting over here. Holding, go ahead and bend your right elbow. Twist over to the right with just your upper back. Come back into the center. And then twist up and open. And twisting underneath, hold. Coming back in the center. Up and hold. 2 more times. Twisting underneath. Coming back in the center. Twisting open to the side. And down. 1 more time. Twisting underneath, holding here. Try to reach through those fingertips even more. Coming back into the center. And then twisting up and open, holding here. And bring the hand back down. Now, last thing we're doing here. Take the right arm out to the right side. You're going to go ahead and rotate the chest up and open to the right. Twist open a little bit further. And a little bit further. Reach those fingertips up toward the ceiling. And hand comes down. Left arm out to the left side. Twist up and open to the left. Reach through your fingertips. Twist open even more. And coming back down. 1 more time each side. Right arm reaches up to the ceiling. So you're pushing through that left hand, reaching with the right. And down. And left. Twist and hold. Reaching with the fingers even more. And coming back on down. Sit your hips on back toward your heels. Reach your fingertips as far forward as possible. And wiggle your hips on out. So little child's pose right here. And rolling on up. Let's go ahead and come into a laying down position. So, we're laying on down. Feet are flat on the mat. Hands are here by the sides of your hips. So, we're going to start with just a little hip roll up, and then we'll add on some variations. So, for this, I want you to focus on activating through your glutes and really rolling, articulating through the spine. So we're not rushing through this. We're using this as an opportunity to wake up our spine. So you're going to tuck your pelvis here, Articulate your hips up, one vertebrae at a time up off of the mat. Rolling those hips up all the way. Squeeze your glutes up here. Think of reaching your knees straight forward. Holding. Go ahead and keep your hips lifted as you roll down through your upper back, your mid back, and your lower back. Finding your neutral pelvis there at the bottom. Tuck the pelvis, roll those hips up. Slowly articulating, one vertebrae at a time off the floor. Squeezing your glutes up here at the top. Go ahead and roll down through your upper back, through your mid back, and your lower back. Find an arch there. Let's go 2 more times. Exhale, cinching the sides of the tummy in as you're rolling up. Reach through your knees and slowly rolling back on down. Arching the lower back here. Let's go 1 more time. Tuck the pelvis. Now as you're doing this, make sure that your shoulders are staying relaxed away from your ears. You're opening the collarbones out to the sides. Rolling slowly back on down. And find your neutral pelvis. Now, go ahead and roll your hips back up all the way to your bridge, holding up here. So really squeeze up through the backs of those legs. Make sure you're not pushing your lower back. We don't want that. It's up from your hips. Now hold here. You're gonna go ahead and take your arms all the way up overhead. Reach your fingertips as much as you possibly can. You can even wiggle through those fingers to get your full reach. Keep those arms up overhead as you tuck the pelvis. And you roll back on down. Arms come back. Tuck the pelvis. Roll your hips up all the way, squeezing your glutes up here. Arms reach up overhead. You can hike the shoulders up to the ears, reaching through your fingertips as much as you can. And then go ahead and slowly rolling back on down all the way. And hands reach down. Let's go 2 more times. Tuck the pelvis. Rolling those hips up all the way, squeezing your glutes up here. Arms reach up overhead. Hike the shoulders up to the ears. Keep your hips lifted as you roll down through your upper back, through your mid back, and your lower back. Arms come down. 1 more time. Arms lift up, overhead. Pelvis tucks. Rolling all the way up. Squeezing your glutes up here. And slowly rolling on down. And hands come down to the floor. Now, let's roll those hips all the way up here to the top. And we're going to hold. You're going to lift your right hip up a little bit extra to twist your hips to the left. So, it's just that small. The left hip lifts up a little bit extra to twist your hips to the right and center. So right here, we should be stretching the hip flexors, so right up here in front of those hips. But at the same time, we're getting quite a good glute workout here. We're trying to wake up all of the essential muscles in the body. So we're going to be waking up those glutes here. And twist and twist. So when you're twisting, keep your knees pointed straight forward. There's no movement there of the legs. And twist. 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tuck the pelvis and roll on down. Beautiful. Let's go and reach those arms up overhead. Reach all the way up. Wiggle your fingertips. Circle the arms around. Arms come up. Circling around. So as those arms lift up overhead, we want to, first of all, just get as big of a stretch as we possibly can. It's so important to move the arms up overhead, since we don't really get that motion very much during real life. But what we really want to focus on here is keeping the shoulders down away from the ears as we reach the arms up overhead. So arms come up, shoulders stay down away from the ears. Keep them there as you circle around. Shoulders stay down. So just because the arms move up does not mean the shoulders have to follow. And now reverse. Arms open out to the side and up. Keep the shoulders down, away from the ears. 3, 2, and 1. Nod your chin toward your chest. Curl your upper body up and forward. Let's just get a little bit of an abdominal warm-up here. And slowly roll yourself back down. So I'm keeping my neutral pelvis. I'm not tucking as I'm rolling up. So pull your ribs down and in. Think of lifting from your sternum, so from your heart, lifting up and forward. Reach through those fingertips and slowly roll back down. Exhale, curling on up, holding here, and slowly rolling back down. Exhale, holding, and exhale, back on down. 2 more times. Exhale, as you curl up, inhale to hold, and exhale to come back down. 1 more time. Exhale, flexing up, hold, inhale, and exhale, lower on back down. Go ahead and flex on up and hold here. You're going to lift your right arm up and down and left. So now focus here on the reaching of the fingertips. So reaching the right fingertips away, left arm up overhead. Now left fingertips reach away, right arm lifts overhead. And then the whole time, you're keeping your chest lifted up at the same height. 4 more. 4, 3, and 2. 1 more time, and rolling back on down. Good job. Go ahead and pull your knees into your chest. Pull them all the way in. You're going to make a little bowl shape, and let's just roll side to side. We're trying to give our lower back a little bit of love right here, in case your lower back was working a little bit too much there. And give yourself little circles. So I'm pulling my knees in a little closer, circling my lower back around. And go ahead and reverse, around and around. Each time pulling the knees a little bit closer. And 3, 2, 1. Pull in, curl up a little bit higher, holding there, and release down. Exhale, pull the knees in, curling up even a little bit higher, and rolling back down. 2 more times. Pull the knees in all the way, tuck your chin in towards your knees, releasing back down. 1 more time, curling up all the way, and releasing back down. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to go and lengthen that left leg out all the way. I'm straightening my left leg. I'm pointing through my toes on the left side, and then just squeezing through the glutes back here so that the left hip flexor here can have a big stretch. Pull that right knee in toward your chest, and we're just going to hold. So really pull that knee all the way in, but make sure, something that's really going to impact your stretch here, make sure you're not tucking your pelvis. So you want to keep a neutral arch underneath that lower back while you pull the knee in. You'll feel a bigger stretch there in the hip when you do that. So while the knee is here, I'm just going to circle the knee, pulling it in and around, keeping that bent position. Each time you're pulling the knee in closer to your chest. And around, and around. And then start to play with how far are you going to take the knee out to the side? How far are you going to cross it over your midline? We're starting to loosen up that hip joint. Especially crossing over the midline. That's usually the spot where we're the tightest. So out to the side, crossing over. Go ahead and reverse. And around. Keep reaching your left leg away, pointing through the toes. And we have 4, and 3, 2, side. So it's opening out here. I'm gonna pull my right knee up to my right shoulder as much as I possibly can, and then just go and release it back down. Pulling it up, holding here, and just release. So we're just trying to increase the tension of the stretch, and then relax. And pull that knee up even higher, and release. 2 more times. 1, holding, pulling it up a little higher, and release. And 1 more time, holding it up. Now cross it over. So I'm taking my left hand on my right knee, and I'm pulling the knee over my midline. So my right knee is now trying to reach down to the left side of the floor. Simultaneously, I'm pulling that knee in toward my chest. So we're trying to get a glute stretch here on the right. In order to get that, you have to maximize how much you're pulling the knee down to the floor and how much you're also pulling it up in toward your chest. If you let your right hip lift off the floor a little bit too much, then you're not going to feel this glute stretch. So you've got to balance all of those components out. Hold the knee in a little bit more, holding here. We're holding this position, but now I'm just slightly pulling the knee in tiny little circles, each time deepening the stretch. And when I'm circling the knee, my hips are not moving. And reverse the circle. And come into the center, pull the knee all the way in, all the way in. Stretch that right leg up toward the ceiling. So, you have a couple options here. You can support your leg with your hands like this, if that helps you increase the stretch, or if that's promoting your knee to bend more, then you can just take your hands down. I'm going to support for the time being, but then eventually take it off. So, you're going to flex your foot as much as you can. By that, you're pushing your heel up to the ceiling, folding your toes back toward your face. This should already feel like a stretch, either in your calf or in your hamstring, depending on where you're the most tight. Really try to pull up through the muscles on the sides of the kneecaps here, so you're straightening the knee completely. We're holding here. You're going to go ahead and point through the foot and flex. Point through the foot and flex. So with this ankle movement, not only are we stretching through the ankle and through the feet, but you should feel like your hamstring stretch gets a little bit more intense, or maybe a lot more, depending how tight you are, when you flex that foot. So you're pushing that heel up to the ceiling even more when you flex the foot. So heel pushes up and point. And each time you point, think of moving from the ankle, pushing that ankle forward so you get a stretch there in the front of the ankle. Let's go 2 more times. We have 1 and point and 2 and point. Now ankle is going to move in and out. So side to side movement. In all the way and then opening out all the way to the side. We don't really get this movement that much in real life, so it's really good to work on this. Over to the left. Now, especially out to the right, really emphasize that. It's very limited. You won't get too much range of motion there, but you're going to try to increase it each time. If you're really working the full range of motion of your ankle should be getting a little hot right now. This is a lot of work. And 2 more. 1 and out and 2. Now let's circle the ankle. Circle, circle, circle. 2 more times. 1, 2. Reverse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bend that knee in and extend the right leg out. Let's switch to the left. Hold the left knee all the way in. Hugging that knee in tight. And just wiggle a little bit side to side. So make sure you find your neutral pelvis there. The more that you tuck your pelvis, the more that you're actually not going to be stretching your hip. it ends up putting all of it into your lower back. So pull that knee in, and then let's just give the hip a little bit of movement, so waving that thigh side to side. Pulling the knee in a little bit tighter. So each movement side to side, you're going to use that as an opportunity to pull the knee closer toward your chest. And your best friend here is your breath. The more that you use your exhale as an opportunity to release, the more that your muscles, that they'll actually help you deepen this stretch versus working against where your arms are pulling them. Let's go ahead and cross the knee over and to the side in a circle. Out to the side, crossing over the midline, and out to the side, circling down in it, crossing over. So I'm finding that stretch there through my circle. Now let's make the circle a little more fluid, but those are the markers that we're trying to hit, that full crossover, the opening out to the side. You can use one or two hands, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Just make sure that it's really your arms that are creating this movement. Your leg is just a passenger. So you shouldn't feel like your leg movement is actually coming through a push from your leg. And let's go in reverse. Make sure you emphasize that cross over the midline. So you're crossing your left knee over to the right. And something that you can take note of is which hip is tighter. Usually we have one hip that's sometimes significantly tighter than the other. Is this the hip? Was it the right? That's just kind of a note to think of. So next time when you stretch, you can stretch that side just a little bit more. And two more circles. We have one and last one, two. Now you're going to open the left knee all the way out to the left side. So I have it open here. I'm going to pull my left knee up toward my left shoulder, so I'm bringing it up as high as I possibly can, and then just release. And pull the knee up and then release. Pulling it up and release. And up. And release. Two more times. Up, holding there. And release. Final one. Pulling it up all the way. Holding here. Go ahead and cross the knee over the midline. Left knee is pulling over to the right side of the room. So we're trying to get a stretch right up through here in the glute. In order to do that, you want to try to keep your left hip down as much as possible while you're pulling your knee over to the side. Pull the knee in closer to the chest, as well as pushing it down toward the right side. And we're holding here. We're just going to add little circles, and very small. So I'm using my arms to pull the knee around and down. Pulling it in toward the chest a little closer, pushing it down toward the floor a little bit more. And around, and around. Keep going. Let's do three more. 3, 2, 1. Now reverse. When you're doing this, make sure the hip itself, so there should not be any movement here. It's just the thigh. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come into the center, pull the knee in all the way. It should release in a little bit further than it did when you started. So now let's stretch the leg all the way up to the ceiling. So we're going to get this hamstring, calf, loosen up, straighten your knee all the way, flex your foot. So you're pushing the heel up toward the ceiling, pulling your toes down toward your face. Holding here, let's just release into this stretch. You can always support with your hands here. Just make sure your hands are not pulling your knee into a bigger bend. And we're going to hold, push the heel up a little bit more, pull those toes back. Potentially you might be shaking a little bit here. depending on where you're tight. Straighten the knee a little bit further, and we're now going to add our ankle movements. So I'm going to point all the way up with my ankle and then flex, pushing the heel up. And point, and flex, and point. Stretch through the ankle there, flex all the way. And point, and flex. 2 more times. 1. When you flex, really hold it. Hold, and 1 more time, point, and flex. Now we're gonna move the ankle sideways, so in all the way, and out. So to the right, and to the left. To the right, and the left. So just side to side, it's a very small movement, especially when you're going to the left, but that movement to the left is really important. When I'm moving my ankle to the right, I feel a stretch right up through here. And then when I go to the left, we're not getting much of a stretch, it's actually kind of tightening up that spot that we were just stretching previously. And we have 3, and 2, 1 more time, circle the ankle, and then check in. I just noticed my knee started to relax. Make sure that you're getting that knee to stay straight even through the circle. And reverse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Flex the foot, hold up through here, and then go ahead and pull the knee in all the way. Pull both knees in, curl yourself up, and just waver side to side. Let's go and stretch both of the legs out. Okay, so we're going to start to do a little roll up here. You're going to go ahead and lift your arms up toward the ceiling. Lengthen that lower back down into the mat. Let's just curl the upper body up just to here. So I'm resting on my sacrum. Tuck the pelvis, roll yourself back on down. Inhale, arms come up. Lengthen that lower back into the mat as you're curling yourself up. Now my legs should stay down and heels are still pushing forward. Slowly release yourself down all of the way. Let's go 2 more times. Arms lift up, reach through the fingertips. Curling your upper body forward and slowly lowering back down. Final 1. Arms lift up. Tuck your pelvis here. Rounding yourself up just to this spot, and then very slowly control yourself down. Now, we're going to progress to a full roll up here. If you have to kick your legs to get up, that is no problem. You're just going to keep doing the same version that we just did. It's not worth doing a full roll up if your legs are moving. So go up only as high as you can keep your legs down. Arms come up, tuck your pelvis. If you can, roll all the way up and forward, still flex your feet. Reach through the fingertips even a little bit more. We're going to give ourselves a stretch here. Rolling straight up. Tuck the pelvis. Rolling back on down. Slowly. Arms reach up through. Even bring your shoulders up to your ears. Let's go again. Arms reach forward. Rounding yourself. Stretching all the way. Flex your feet. Find your posture. Tuck the pelvis. And slowly rolling back on down all the way. Arms reach up. Let's go 2 more times. Arms lifting up. Tuck the pelvis. Curling yourself forward all the way. Holding this stretch here. Rolling yourself straight up. And tuck. Roll back on down all the way. Final 1. Arms lift up. Tuck your pelvis. Rolling all the way up and forward. Holding this stretch here. And rolling up through the spine. Rolling yourself back on down. Lovely. Okay, let's roll back on up. Tuck your pelvis. Rolling yourself up here. Holding here. Stretching forward even more. We're just going to do little pulses here. So I'm curving my spine. I'll move back so you can see me a little better. So I'm curling my spine. I'm pushing back through my lower back and I'm pulsing forward. Curve and push and push. Now when I'm pulsing, I'm pushing down through here. It's not through up here. Reach and reach, reach. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretching up all the way. Beautiful. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cross my legs here. You can keep your legs out in front if that feels good for you. Arms are going to reach out in front. We're going to move our shoulder blades a little bit. So I'm going to retract my shoulder blades, pull the shoulder blades in together, and then reach forward. Shoulder blades pinch in together, and then apart. And together, and apart. And together. And apart, and together. And apart. So the whole time that we're doing this, we want the shoulders to stay down, away from the ears. Forward and together. And forward. 2 more times. 1 and 2. Now, shoulder blades draw down the back, in together. Lift the sternum to the center of the chest. You're lifting forward and up, 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 up to the ceiling. And then curve just your upper back. So this is why I'm facing this way, so you can see my spine. You see how I'm not going forward like this. I'm staying straight up through the lower belly. I'm pushing back between my shoulder blades. Nod your chin down for a neck stretch there. And draw the shoulder blades down and in, rolling yourself back up to neutral. Shoulder blades pull down the back. Lift your chest forward and up. Holding up here. Think of opening the shoulders out to the sides. Reach your arms forward. Think of pressing back between your shoulder blades. And shoulders down and in. Lifting the chest forward and up. And curve through your upper back. Really hold here. Give yourself that curve. And lifting the chest forward and up. And curve. We're going to go one more time. Shoulder blades down and in. Lifting the sternum up. And final one. Curving all the way. And now we're going to find neutral. Okay, so now I'm going to go and face you. All right, so now we're kind of giving our building blocks of the spine that we're going to finish off with a big stretch later. So reach your fingertips out wide. I'm pulling my ribs in. I'm going to go ahead and lift my upper body and twist to the right. Reach through the fingertips and go ahead and come back in the center. Reach through the fingertips even more. Twist over to the left, lifting up even taller through the spine. And come back into the center. Twist all the way over to the right. Hold here, twist a little bit more. And center. And twist to the left, lifting up even taller through the spine. And center. Twist to the right. And center. And to the left. And center. Now, we're going to twist over to the right. So with this, it's all about, we're working on using our external obliques. So we want to think of pulling the side of the rib cage, the opposite side of the rib cage, over for the twist. So I'm pulling the left side of my rib cage over to twist to the right. Twist a little bit further, and twist a little bit further. We're holding here. So each time I'm growing up a little bit taller through the spine. I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning back. Twist a little bit further, and twist a little bit further, and come back in the center. Let's go to the left, twisting. Now, it's not my arms that are twisting more. Keep your arms out to the sides. It's my rib cage that's pulling me over forward. So twisting over even further, and twisting even further. Hold there. Twisting even further. And come back in the center. Twist over the right. Let's go one more time. Holding, lifting up even taller. So I'm lifting from the crown of the head. Imagine someone's pulling, ponytail, lifting you up tall. Twist the chest even further. and even further, and center, and to the left, twisting even further, and further, and center. Now we're gonna go to the right, and we're gonna add little pulses. I'm pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Center and twist. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Center and twist. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Center, twist, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew! Drop those arms down. That's a little bit of shoulder work right there. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and add the full exercise all together. So take your legs out in front of you, flex your feet. You're gonna go ahead and take your arms out to the sides. We're gonna twist over to the right, holding here. Now I'm gonna flip my palms so they're open to the ceiling, arch my back up, so lifting the sternum up to the ceiling, twist a little bit further, and then flip your palms down, curve your upper body. Increasing the twist, curve that upper body even more. Let's do that again. Flip the palms up and open. Arching the upper back, open to the ceiling, and flip the palms down. I am curving my upper back. Imagine you're an eagle hovering. And one more time. Reach those arms out, arching the chest up and back even further, and curve your upper back, twist even more, and let's come back into center. Twisting over to the left, lifting up really tall through the spine. You should feel like we're working on posture right here. Turn the palms up, arch the upper back up and open to the ceiling, twisting even further to the left. And flip the palms down, I'm curving my upper back. Flip the palms up, arching up and back. And flip the palms down, increase your twist. Last one. Palms lift up and open, arching back even further. And they flip down, curve in the upper back. Come back into center. Twist over to the right. Now, I'm gonna take my left hand. I'm gonna reach over to the outside of my right foot. So I'm twist. Take that arm over to the side of the foot. I'm going to use my right hand, or my left hand, and my right foot, pushing them against each other to help twist me over, opening myself to the right side even more. And come back in the center. Right hand goes over to the side of the left foot. Push yourself over, increasing your twist. And bring yourself back up into center. Hand goes over to the side. Twist, opening even further to the right side of the room. Come back into the center. Hand goes here on the side. Push yourself into a twist. And bring yourself back up into center. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Open your knees wide out to the sides. Lengthen your chest down all the way. Now, when we're doing this, it's not nose to knees. Lengthen your back forward, so flat back, lengthening from your lower back. You can think of reaching your arms straight forward along the floor. Holding here. Use your breath to help release. Reaching even further forward. And up. Reaching further forward. And up. Let's go 2 more times. 1 and 2. And releasing up. Okay, so now's the time to grab your band or your belt or rope or anything that you're going to be using, and we're going to go and stand on up. 40. Okay. Okay, so we're going to end with our standing stretch series. So I have my band. I'm going to go ahead and, if you have a band, then you have some elasticity to obviously pull apart. If not, you're just going to give yourself hold some tension, but you're not actually gonna be able to really pull it apart. You're gonna bring your feet wide apart to the sides. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the band apart, take the arms back behind your head for a shoulder stretch. We're trying to stretch right up through here in the armpit region. So stretch those arms up and back, and then release your arms up and forward. Pull the band apart. Take those arms up and back, behind your body, and then lifting up and forward. And up and back. Now we're thinking of reaching to those back diagonals. So something that you want to make sure that you don't do is just release down here. That's not a stretch. This is where the stretch really happens. And take the arms up and over. Pull the band apart a little bit further. Arms come up, reaching back. Pull the band apart a little bit more. And if you have just a rope or a belt or something like that, still pull. Giving yourself that tension will be really helpful in getting an active stretch. Now we're gonna add the spine. So arms lift up, lift the chest, forward and up to the ceiling, and release. And arms, lift up, lift the chest, forward and up to the ceiling, and release. And 4 more times. Arms up, pull the band apart, lifting from your sternum, and release. And arms up, arching up and back. And release. And up. Now we're gonna hold up here, holding. Pull the band apart a little bit more, arch it back even further. Arms come forward, bend your knees, tuck your pelvis. We're trying to get a nice stretch through the lower back. And straighten the knees, lifting the chest up and back. And tuck the pelvis, curving forward. And up and back. And bend the knees, tuck the pelvis, curve through your lower back. We're gonna hold here. Keep your hips forward. I'm gonna twist my upper back over to the right. And come into the center. And twisting over to the left. And center. And twisting to the right. Keep your hips forward. So we should be feeling a really strong stretch through the lower back. Twist. And center. And twist, and center, final one, over to the left, twist, and center, arms come up. We're gonna go into a side stretch, stretching up and over to the right. Pull the band apart a little bit more, and then coming back in the center. Over to the left, pull that top arm up a little bit further. I'm reaching through both of the arms equally, and center. Over to the right, reach through that right arm, pull the left arm up a little bit more with the band, and center, and to the left, reaching up and over, and center. Now final thing, over to the right. I'm gonna go ahead and keep my arms straight here, twist the chest, try to open that left arm back as much as you can. Come back down into your side bend, and up in the center. Side bend over to the left. Pull that right arm up a little bit higher. I'm taking my right arm back and twisting my chest up and open to the ceiling. Come down a little bit deeper into your stretch. And final set. Over to the right. Left arm pulls up. Take that left arm back. Twist your chest up and open and holding here for 3, 2, 1. Down and center. And over to the left. Pull that right arm up and back, twisting the chest up and open, holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Down, and bring yourself back up. Just give yourself one final curve here. You can just add little wiggles, giving that lower back a release, and then rolling on up all the way through the spine. That's the end of the workout. Thank you so much for joining me, and hope to see you in class when we're back.